Hello and greetings from RPGmodsFan. I have broken up my walkthrough, review, and discussion of the Traveler's Highndry adventure into 3 parts. I would suggest watching the first part before watching this video. This video summarizes the adventure as well as discusses its timeline of events. Hence, this video is appropriate for Game Masters only, and there will be spoilers ahead. Next week, I will release the 3rd and final part.
Captain, I brought our spaceship to the planet, Woolston. We are now in a stable orbit around the planet. A group of travelers came to this planet to claim a Scout/Courier class spaceship. I will now give you the background and details of their adventure. A synopsis of the Highndry adventure would be as follows. The travelers are given a 100-ton Scout-class spaceship in which they can explore the galaxy for the rest of the campaign. The only catch is, they have to find it first. I would summarize the adventure as follows. Traveling to the quiet world of Woolston, the travelers will have to engage with the locals, locate their ship, called the Highndry, and repair it before they can return home. However, the ship has been left in the caldera of a volcano, and there have been tremors rocking the surrounding area for quite some time. The volcano erupts, and the travelers, with their now flying ship, are asked to assist with the evacuation of the people in the region before the fast-moving, pyroclastic flows can reach them. The Highndry adventure is about the traveler characters solving problems in their own unique way. It is not about traveler characters having the right skills, weapons, equipment, etc. Hence, the Game Master should be flexible with the solutions their travelers come up with. This adventure can be run without any combat whatsoever. However, this may make the adventure boring for some of your players who are itching for combat. Hence, the Game Master may wish to add a few antagonists. As one suggestion, have the Far Trader spaceship they are on board of, and that is heading to Woolston, be attacked and boarded by space pirates. As another suggestion, have another group of NPC travelers, also seeking to get their hands on the Highndry. The adventure, and the traveler game setting, are pretty much like the Firefly science fiction television series. Ask your players, what type of science fiction setting do they want to play in? If they say, Firefly, then hardly any adjustments are necessary. If they answer, the old Star Trek TV series, then some adjustments are needed to the overall campaign, with emphasis placed on exploration adventures. If they say, old Star Wars, then hardly any adjustments are necessary. Have travelers Third Imperium act and feel like the Star Wars Galactic Empire. If they say, The Expanse, then have the Third Imperium act and feel like the Earth government from the TV show, and the Sword Worlds Confederation act and feel like the Mars government. If they say, Jar Jar Abrams, and or Alex Klutzman's Star Trek, or Disney Star Wars, then have the travelers caught in the gravity well of a black hole, and their ship is out of fuel, and the ship's J drives and M drives are broken and irreparable, and any onboard vessels, such as fighters, lifeboats, escape pods, etc., are inoperable. I will now go through the adventure's timeline of events. Quite some time ago, the 100-ton Scout/Courier spaceship was built at the Gushmij sector. It was commissioned by the Imperium Interstellar Scout Service, or the IISS for short. The ship was designated as S001642C. The ship has seen service on exploration, survey, and communications missions. Some time later, 1 or 2 centuries ago, the ship was given the name Highndry. No one knows for sure who or why the ship was given such a name, but the name stuck. Decades ago, the IISS placed the Highndry into detached duty pool, meaning it is given on loan to a crew with the understanding that they properly maintain the ship, and that the ship and the crew can be called back into active service at any time. A few years ago, the Highndry was assigned to a crew who turned out to be obnoxious, loud-mouthed, offensive jerks. This crew did not properly maintain the ship, which, eventually, lead to the ship's control electronics to fail. A few months ago, the Highndry's crew was hired by the planetary government of Woolston to survey Mount Salburii, which, till recently, was thought to be an inactive volcano. Even though small spaceships do infrequently visit the planet, Woolston itself is a low-tech world operating at a technology level just one leap above 21st century Earth, and it has a rather small population dedicated mainly to agriculture and fishing. When in the volcano's cauldron, the ship's control electronics failed, rendering it unflyable. The crew abandoned ship, took the ship's airaft, and went to Woolston's star town. There, they booked and boarded a trader spaceship that was bound for Caladborg. The crew disembarked at Flammarion and expected to get spare and repair parts from the IISS. However, at Flammarion, the IISS had the crew arrested. The IISS are not happy about the crew seriously neglecting to maintain and repair the Highndry. Nor could they ignore or overlook the many scams the crew has run in the past. As a game master, I would rule that, due to the limited amount that they can carry, the former crew of the Highndry did not rip out, salvage, or destroy the ship's survey equipment, and that it is the only component that is in good working order and does not need fixing. Before the adventure begins, the players need to first create their characters, which are known as travelers. Any type of traveler can play in this adventure. However, at minimum, the required skills for a group of travelers to complete the adventure would be pilot, engineer, and astronavigator. Since this is an introductory level adventure, and with the possibility of getting a ship as a benefit during the character creation process, the Game Master should advise travelers not to go too far in their character creation. Actually, the Game Master should stop the traveler at a point that is best suited for the start of this adventure. A lot of assumptions are made on how the traveler characters will act and react in the next sequence of events. However, as all us Game Masters know, players hardly ever do what is expected. Hence, the Game Master will need to be flexible and creative, especially to get the story back on track. The newly created travelers start out at Starport Liberty, on the planet Flammarion, which is a high-tech level world. One or more of the travelers will have an appointment with Mr. Anders Kasarii of the IISS. He offers the Highndry to be assigned to the travelers. When they accept, they are given 3 large flight cases full of circuit panels, tools, and portable diagnostic equipment and software in order to effect repairs on the Highndry. Along with these, I would suggest the travelers also be given an AI, such as myself, to install onto the Highndry. Thus, the Game Master could use the AI as an NPC to give hints and/or suggestions to the travelers. The travelers journey to Woolston via a Type A2 Far Trader spaceship named Autumn Gold. The commander of the Autumn Gold is Captain Michelle Corelli. After leaving Flammarion, the Autumn Gold makes its first stop at planet 567-908 and will stay there for a day. This dry world has not yet been given an official name. The stopover will be drab, dreary, and depressing. Planet Woolston is the next destination, where the travelers disembark at Startown. The travelers were expecting the Highndry to be berthed at the starport, but are surprised when it is not. From the ground crews, town folk, and the Port Authority office, the travelers learn a lot about the former crew of the Highndry, except for where the ship itself is now located. For that information, the travelers need to travel to Central Lake, which is the capital of planet Woolston. There, they meet with Minister Alan Greener, the Minister for Off-World Affairs, Public Relations, and Fisheries. The former crew of the Highndry did not complete the survey they were already paid to do. The Minister will only reveal the location of the ship only if the travelers agree to complete the survey. If they insist on compensation, Minister Greener will not offer much, since he views the survey mission as already paid for. Once an agreement is reached, Minister Greener reveals that the Highndry is in the caldera of Mount Salburii. The travelers journey to the mountain and climb it. Because of the volcano's height and Woolston's thin atmosphere, the climb can be dangerous and lethal. If the travelers take their time, then the climb will not be so dangerous. A lake is in Mount Salburiai's cauldron. The Highndry is on an island that is in the middle of the lake. The former crew not only abandoned the ship, but also their pet, Adenture's wolf. What a bunch of heartless jerks! The pet is now starving, and, thus, aggressive. The travelers enter the ship and repair it. For story purposes, it is nearly impossible to fail on repairing the ship. However, on a perceived failed check roll, as a game master, I would ask the traveler if they wish to redo the repair with a +2 modifier, and boom, on the next roll. The next task the travelers are expected to do is to survey the mountain. A cursory survey will take 10 man-hours. A proper survey will take 20 man-hours. A slight tremor shakes the mountain during the middle of the survey. As a game master, I would have the tremor occur 10 hours after the start of the survey. A slight plume of dust and gas escapes from the southwest side of the mountain. At the same time, the lake's surface bubbles, then subsides. The lake's level then slowly drops. The volcano begins to erupt just when the travelers run their first test flight of the Highndry. They learn the ship is flyable, but will need extensive repair work done at the nearest high-tech level starport. Bushes can be seen catching fire, and the air is filling with superheated dust and ash. The travelers receive a number of transmissions. One is from Minister Greener, the other is from the mayor of Salburiai town. Minister Greener wants to know what is happening. He is getting reports of smoke and tremors from the mountain. He wants the travelers to fly around the mountain and report what they see. This will not be the only time he contacts the travelers for an update. Likewise, the mayor of Salburiai wants to know what is happening. Tremors have been felt in the town, and dark plumes can be seen issuing from the volcano. The Woolston authorities have dispatched security personnel, fire and rescue workers, and like, to the region. The next chain of events assume the travelers are cooperative with Minister Greener and the Woolston government, instead of taking the ship and running. There is a lot of smoke and ash coming from the volcano. This is odd. I am detecting missiles being launched at us from the volcano. Oh. Wait a minute. I now see what the trouble is. An odd rock, or two, are flung from the volcano, causing the ship's sensors to constantly give wailing missile alerts, making the ship's flight tricky. Via visual and the ship's sensors, the travelers can report to Minister Greener that lava is flowing out of the volcano, but the town of Salburiai is not in any danger. However, the village of Barvin and its surrounding hamlets are in danger. Via various transmissions, people at farms and settlements south of Salburiai are told to evacuate to the town of Salburiai. The fishing submarine, Ocean's Bounty, surfaces and is only able to evacuate a handful of people from Barvin. A train is being sent from Salburiai to Barvin to evacuate people from the region. Similarly, the Woolston government has 3 grav vehicles that are all being sent to Barvin to evacuate people. If the travelers have offered to help, Dictator Master Tun, who is the ruler of the planet, will radio them and ask them to get estimates of the lava flow rates and to report on the conditions of the dirt road that leads to Barvin and of the volcano itself. A few minutes later, the dictator again calls the travelers. The dictator tells them that 2 groups of people need rescuing. One has 11 people at an agricultural settlement or farming hamlet and are unable to reach Barvin. The other group are the dictator's Varga chauffeur's parents. The dictator asks the travelers to save the group of 11 people. With the dictator's permission, the chauffeur has taken the dictator's limousine and is going to save her mother and father. There are still people in Barvin when the last train out leaves. The adventure makes no mention on how the travelers will learn or are informed of this. Perhaps the dictator radios them. If the Highndry has landed and is taking aboard refugees, the volcano erupts one more time. This time with pyroclastic flows. The pyroclastic flow will reach Barvin in 4 to 5 minutes. The travelers can get the ship out of danger either by flying above the pyroclastic flow or by flying out to sea and submerging the ship. However, the travelers will get a distress call from the Varga chauffeur. The chauffeur was able to pick up her parents, is heading for the coast, and is a minute or two ahead of the pyroclastic flow. Rescuing them will put the travelers, the ship, and the refugees into considerable danger, with the very real possibility of a TPK, a D&D term for total party killed. After rescuing them, assuming they attempt to do so, the travelers can 1. Attempt to fly the ship up and above the pyroclastic flow. This is the riskiest. Or 2. Attempt to fly the ship out to sea and submerge it. This is less risky. Or 3. Attempt to fly the ship head-on into the pyroclastic flow. Turns out, this is the least riskiest of maneuvers. If the travelers did anything to help, even if it were the minimal effort of only surveying the volcano, they will be considered as heroes. How much of heroes depends on how many refugees they manage to save. The Woolston government will do their best to repair the Highndry. In the least, the ship will be flyable and jump capable. Unfortunately, the Woolston government does not have the funds to substantially reward the travelers for their rescue efforts. The Highndry, along with its travelers, depart Woolston. At Flammarion, the travelers are given accommodations at a nice hotel by the IISS, while the Highndry is being overhauled, which takes a couple of weeks. Thank you for watching. From all of us at the RPG Mods Fan Spaceship.